It's what keeps us connected with the rest of the world and reminds us that we are part of the whole.
Prince Harry has officially listed his new home as the U.S. on documents and renounced his right to reside in the U.K. Will it be easy for him? Well, let's find out right now. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. As we know, since Meghan Markle entered his life, Harry has left his family and his country. And as I see it, it doesn't really matter where we were born and raised. We never should betray our roots. We've got to appreciate and love the place that raised us. Am I the only one who feels this way? Alright, so first I'm going to share some information with you. In his first speech since Catherine announced that she had been diagnosed with cancer, Harry spoke at Travelist annual general meeting. So Travelist is a sustainable tourism organization launched in 2019 by none other than Prince Harry himself. It's a nonprofit organization and it's based in London. So in his latest speech, Harry has declared that his new country is now the US. This is officially a sign that Harry no longer cares about his family or his homeland. I mean, we already knew this, but I guess now he's making it official. In my opinion, if Harry renounces his home country, then he also should give up any title that he may have connecting him to his old homeland. As far as we know, he sure hasn't done that. So he's claiming that now the US is his primary country of residence. And somebody who loves status like Meghan, somebody who schemes as much as she does, is never going to let Harry give up his title. I mean, there is no such thing as renouncing residency. Harry's just changing his primary place of residence, and that just so happens to be in a different country. And he claims that he was kicked out of Frogmore, which the late Queen gave them as a wedding gift. So humiliating for this poor British prince. He must be traumatized. Well, how does he think his father and the rest of the members of his family feel when he's announcing that he's got a new home country, America? Did he even bother filling out the paperwork by himself, or did an assistant do it? What if it was done by an assistant and they just brought America in because that's where he lives right now? So residency and citizenship, as you know, are two different things altogether. Perhaps he was told he needed to go to the US because that's where he lives. He wasn't able to claim residency in the UK anymore because they don't have a residence there. Harry cannot claim that he's still in England. I mean, he can't even claim that his heart is in England. Obviously, it's not true. I still don't think it's a good idea, though, for Harry to change his residence. I think that's going to bring him more trouble than ever. Now, recently there was a Newsweek article about this. Quote, "Look for Prince Harry changes country of residence from UK to US. What privileges will he lose?" So the issue that we need to talk about here is probably the tax issue. I think it's going to be very hard for Harry to pay taxes when declaring his new residence in the US. And I'm not sure if this is simply an indication of his immigration status or if declaring permanent residency in the US takes more than that. It's not like Harry can just have his father wave a magic wand and declare him a US citizen. Or maybe Harry is doing this to try to get sympathy from Americans, thinking that his Netflix garbage is going to do well. If this thing with Netflix fails again, they are finished. Nobody's going to want to waste money on those two grifters anymore. And obviously, Brits don't want him back either. Harry and Meghan have lived in the US now for almost 5 years, so it's not really a shock that he refers to it as his permanent residence. Harry doesn't have a home in the UK ever since Frogmore was taken away. I tell you though, Harry and the invisible children should be completely removed from the line of succession. That is something that Brits should be happy about, because at least then Harry and Meghan wouldn't be bothering them anymore. Obviously, the good people of Britain are fed up with those fakers. I mean, do you remember the time recently when he went to meet with his father and his father would only agree to see him for a few minutes? And basically his father ignored him. So if Harry goes back, just imagine what the British media is going to do. I mean, Harry has insulted them time and time again. And remember, Meghan and the children couldn't possibly feel safe. She's going to be stuck. The weird thing, though, is that the media keeps on talking about this idea of reconciliation. I believe this is one of those things we really shouldn't even wish for. Harry and Meghan being brought back to the UK, it's not going to shut them up. It's going to make things a lot worse. And I'm sure royal family members are just going to feel relieved that Harry can't bother them anymore. For example, Princess Charlotte wakes up on Thursday morning ready to go to school. Before breakfast, she turns on her computer, she Zooms her uncle, who is 2 spots beneath her in the line of succession. He answers in spite of the fact that it's nighttime in the US. And then Her Royal Highness is surprised at this before she remembers her aunt-in-law is an absolute witch. So before Harry can say anything, she accidentally blurts out, "You're not coming back to Britain," and then hangs up. And then she continues on with her morning, getting ready for school. She's more than happy to have put her loser uncle in his place. And then she can just happily look forward to the weekend when her grandfather is going to let her take a look at the royal jewels so that she can save a few pieces for herself when she eventually comes of age. And she's going to naturally choose pieces worn by her identical paternal grandmother. Meanwhile, over in Montecito, California, the fake grifters are seething. Or another example, perhaps Her Royal Highness Princess Charlotte of Wales's computer starts ringing. There's a call coming in. It is her disgraced uncle, who is now in 2 places beneath her in the line of succession. And she answers, hoping that it's not going to take long because she's got things to do. See, she's not going to hire somebody to cheat for her like Harry did, so she actually has to attend school. And she's a lot smarter than he ever was. So he tells her, "Charlotte, I've got to talk to you." And she says, "Oh, sorry, uncle, can't speak with you now. I'm going to go try on the Spencer tiara after school. Bye-bye." Her paternal aunt, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal, looks on lovingly at the little girl who is going to do an amazing job succeeding her. So basically, if Harry and Meghan do somehow get back to Britain, then it's going to be much easier for them to pretend to be royals, and it will also be easier for them to harass and bother the real working royals. And I'm afraid the country will never be rid of them if that happens. So the best thing is for them to just stay put in California, and then they'll have to desperately fight for attention with all the other celebrities. But at least the royal family won't be annoyed by them. They'll just keep on ignoring those 2 idiots. They're not working royals. They can't pretend to be royals. Nobody in the royal family wants anything to do with them. Those bridges were burned a long time ago. They don't fare much better in the celebrity world. There are also a couple of misfits there, but nobody feels sorry for them. They have created all of these problems all by themselves. Obviously, they're not working royals. I mean, Harry and Meghan have been such an annoyance to the royal family all the while they've lived in the US. Now, it's just my opinion, but I think things are going to be worse if they make it back to the UK. The media is going to play right into their hands. I think the best thing for the world would be for the Carparkles to gradually fade into obscurity. And eventually that's going to happen. It's already started happening. Now, as far as I know about the law in the US, your residence cannot just be declared or claimed based on how you feel. I mean, if that were the case, then all those people south of the border could just declare that in their hearts they feel like they are Americans, and so that would be their home. It doesn't work that way. Now, it can be his domicile, meaning that's where Harry currently lives, but it can't be his permanent residence for census and voting. I suspect this was just Harry's attempt to avoid having to pay the legal fees that he owes in this whole security battle. Nothing left in the UK makes it harder to recover. So I gotta say this, it wasn't easy for him to become a naturalized citizen in the US, so what is he even talking about? Would he even be able to become a US citizen this quickly if he didn't receive preferential treatment? I'm not sure what the typical waiting period is for people married to Americans, but I know a few people who had to wait at least 5 or 6 years to get their citizenship. Harry needs to become a little more humble. He needs to really decrease his overinflated ego before it's too late. He should try to make Brits happy because England is his home country. It's where he was born and raised. It's not like we can just up and leave our homeland, go to another country, live there for the rest of our lives, and claim that's where we're from. The homeland is always going to be the homeland. We can never forget the place that once raised us. Do you agree with me? Alright folks, I know this video is getting a little long, so I'll wrap things up now. I hope the information I just shared with you is useful, and I would love to hear more about your opinions because they are so valuable. They really enrich our discussions, and they help us see topics from different angles. Thank you so much for watching, goodbye for now, and I'll be back to see you soon in other videos on my YouTube channel.